Hello, I'm Steve Kaufman. I'm the founder of Self-Revealization Acceptance, the most profound reality facilitation concept ever devised. And the reason for this is that it immediately and instantly takes it away from having to deal with any form of intermediary form to communicate with the creative power of the universe. In other words, you're going direct. This has got nothing to do with religion. As a matter of fact, what it will do, depending upon your religious beliefs, once you start to understand the concepts of self-realization acceptance and apply them, you will find that what it is that you're practicing as a religious belief is entirely enhanced with profound new understanding for you, so that when you do any of the rites or rituals involved with your selected or chosen religion, is immediately go to the source of all creation for a direct extension and a direct explanation of what it is. What makes self-realization acceptance different from any other things? A lot of people say, well, they're affirmations. They're not affirmations. Self-realization acceptances are not affirmations. Affirmations are based generally on the idea of the words and ideas of other people. What self-realization acceptance does, it empowers you to create your own communicative language, with the creative power of the universe that releases the energy through the spirit of the thing itself of your desire in you, as you, and through you to manifest in physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual reality where you are at the moment, and it does it with ease and grace. One of the impediments to ascending to a higher level of consciousness is the idea of succumbing to what I call negative sentiment. Negative sentiment is what activates in you your responses to certain ideas and thoughts. For example, you want to build a bridge. You want to go to school. You want to become an architect, an engineer, and you want to build a bridge. You're told in so many words by many different people, and I'm using this as an extreme example, that, well, who are you to build a bridge? You're never going to do anything like that. And on and on and on and on, depending upon the source it's coming from, and all the sources it's coming from add to this problem that you have to deal with. Other ideas are, you want to be a doctor. Well, you don't have the money to go to school to be a doctor. Okay, yes, and I know all of these ideas that you've been hearing for the last few years that say, well, if you really want something, there's absolutely no problem. All you got to do is want it and really go after it, and you're going to have it. Well, that's a lot of hokum, and all of you, well, let me say, the vast majority of you know that it's hokum, okay? You have got to establish parameters for your own evolution. If you don't establish parameters for your evolution, all you're going to do is spin wheels, no matter how intense your desire is. So what you have to do is you have to harness your desire. You have to make your desire an aspect of your will. You have to get rid of negative sentiment. And we go into this. I teach how this is done. We do this with specific self-realization acceptances that empower you to release this hideous, obstructive and destructive force that's in you, mostly subconsciously. Now, it is not one of these situations where you have to meditate and concentrate and focus and all of these things. One of the advantages of self-realization acceptance, once you create your own reality facilitation, which is going to empower you to ascend to this level of accomplishment, is that you are guided by the spirit of the thing itself of your desire, not the manifestation of your desire, but the development of the concept of your desire. And this is what you're going to learn to do with self-realization acceptance. Now, once you have started to do this, there are certain methodologies you find you're going to have to do, like you have to repeat it a few times, change words here, change words there, until you put it into the form that the creative power of the universe can say, that's it, let's go. Now, I have been doing self-realization acceptance for over 30 years, close to 35 years. I first formulated it, if you will, and came up with the concept of the book and the teaching methodology in 1993. So I'm doing this openly, if you will, for over 25 years. I have healed many, many people. And while we're on the subject of healing, understand one thing right now. Healing is not something that is kept special for certain people. That is not true. Anyone and everyone can absolutely heal without any form of restriction or delay. Once you understand your connection as, not through, not to, your connection as the creative power of the universe. Know this now. The universe was created specifically and exactly for you, for no other reason. And why? Because you're conscious of the fact that the universe exists, and you have to stop thinking in terms of the universe being outside of you. Self-realization acceptance debunks this idea of what you have to do to connect to the creative power of the universe. You are the creative power of the universe. And I don't say this lightly, even though you've been hearing this from all these cockamamie new age ideas of follow this way of thinking, follow that way of thinking. I am not telling you what to think. I am giving you examples that suggest methods for you to think. Now, that's not a politically correct statement that keeps me in a very, very safe place. As we develop, and as you develop with your understanding of self-realization acceptance, then, and we have this relationship between you and me, we can discuss it on that level, which is a way of me getting you more in line with it. Incidentally, Self-Realization Acceptance, this is the book, Self-Realization Acceptance. It's available at hanshi.com/books or Kindle or Amazon. In addition to Self-Realization Acceptance, my other book is called Practicing Self-Realization Acceptance. This is 52 weekly extensions, ascensions, or consciousness raising formulas that will empower you to live your life by your divine and earthly right to live in joy and freedom. And make no mistake about it, you have a divine right to live in joy and freedom, but you also have an earthly right to live in joy and freedom with all of the material things that enhance your experience, that empower you to go to higher levels of consciousness. And you learn generally that the answer to any question is in the correct framing of the question, so that the question reveals its own answer. And you know this from physical things that you have done. You know this from physical things that you have done. And here is an example. You want to ascend to a certain level of accomplishment in whatever discipline you're following. And so you put it in your head. And little by little it appears or it doesn't appear. Okay? And you keep, why? Well, what do I have to do? How do I have to get, this is what's happening, okay? You're developing the question. And when you develop the question correctly, you notice that, boom, the answer appears. There's nothing wrong with this. There is nothing wrong with accepting yourself as a divine creation to live a life of manifest enjoyment and empowerment right here, right now on the earth. What healing accomplishes through self-realization acceptance is based on the idea that once you have this connection, you are able, and I'm not going to use certain words that you're familiar with hearing from other people who presume to know what consciousness raising is. Okay? What you're going to do is accept your own self-realization to manifest the authority required to bring about a healing. This is available to everyone, everywhere. There is no reason you can ever say to yourself, well, he's a healer, she's a healer, I can't do that. Well, if you say he's a healer, she's a healer, that may very well be true, but the fact that you say you can't do it is devastating. Do you really want to heal? No problem. Self-realization acceptance will empower you to use the correct reality facilitations and create the own language you need between yourself and your higher self, which is the creative power of the universe, to bring about these magnificent results. There are other aspects of self-realization acceptance that we're not going to really go into at this particular point. They will come as we go through the development of the course. Now, if you want me to help you with anything, and I have your email address, you have received the Self-Realization Acceptance newsletter. What the Self-Realization Acceptance newsletter does very simply, this week's subject is, and I tell you what the subject is, and I explain it. And then I give you a self-realization acceptance to deal with that particular situation. Well, some people say, well, yeah, but I visualize things. Well, visualization is very good if you know how to use visualization. I mean, just because you have it in your head, you're seeing a 40-room mansion, doesn't mean that you're going to end up with a 40-room mansion. You may end up with a very serious nervous condition because you don't get that 40-room mansion. Okay? You don't use willpower. You do not use willpower. Willpower is a very debilitating form of energy that you will use to force something to happen. And guess what? It doesn't happen. Or if it does happen, you have to stay on top of it to a point where you become half psychotic. I mean, I don't want to use psychological terms here, okay? Not qualified for that. But if you will it to happen, and in one of the chapters in Self-Realization Acceptance, the introduction, I talk about you will now, or you won't later. And it explains why using will and demanding of the universe to deliver, demanding of the universe to deliver, in you, as you, and through you, you will see that the use of willpower becomes essentially unimportant. Because when you're using will, you have already accepted the result. If you accept the result, go forth and experience it, okay? It's the old adage, ask and it shall be given. Well, that's exactly right. However, don't ask an external force. Ask yourself. Yourself, determining your sincerity with your desire, will reveal to you what it is you have to put into word to bring about what you want. And well, why do you have to use words? Can't you just use thoughts? Yes, you can use thoughts and, well, I'm going to think about this and this and that. Using words give you a physical approach to what it is that you are defining for yourself to experience. This and this alone is what will empower you to ascend to the highest levels of greatness. The highest levels of greatness. And that's it for this particular session. The whole idea is to get you to live on your edge, on your terms, by your divine and earthly right to live in joy and freedom. I'm going to close it with a self-realization acceptance that I'm going to make up right now. The universe was created specifically for me. And because the universe was created specifically for me, I accept myself as a divine and earthly emanation of the creative power of the universe that enhances me to think in ways that will permit me to experience all the good there is. Using the creative power of the universe and the spirit of the thing itself, I do not have to concern myself with the thoughts of others. Though I am accepting certain levels of communication from them, I am not accepting the authority that they presume to control me with. I rid myself of negative sentiment. Negative sentiment no longer has position in my life. I go forward by my divine and earthly right to live in joy and freedom, filled with joy, filled with freedom, and in the following areas. My health is superb. My mind is forever functioning. I am my own person. I accept these things as real. My health is perfect. My finances work. All the things that I need are brought to me, and I accept them as done. Without restriction or delay, I accept all things into my life that are good for me based on my ideas and thoughts, with ease and grace, for my expression of joy and freedom. And so it is. That's a simple self-realization acceptance that I just came off the top with. If you'll go into the book of self-realization, the introduction, all of the concepts are explained. If you go into the book of practicing self-realization acceptance, you'll find 52 weekly ascensions to empower your life. Again, you want to get in touch with me? Self-realization@gmail.com. Self-realization. Self-realization@gmail.com. You can IM me. Get on the mail. If you don't see the value in self-realization acceptance to enhance your life, unsubscribe. I already got myself going on, and I am giving this to whoever wants it. I'm giving it. Here, take it. But ask me what it is that you want, so I know what to give you. And you'll find out that I'm not giving you anything. You are not giving you anything. Whoa. You are accepting those things that you have decided by your own choice that you deserve. You deserve it. You want it? Take it. Thank you very much for coming along. Thank you very much for watching. Have any questions? Again, selfrealization@gmail.com. IM, whatever you want to do. See you next time.